I'm Susan, and I would like to share with you some of my knowledge to enjoy chess. In this lesson, I will talk about one of my all-time favorite chess traps. I believe that for the beginner, intermediate player, openings are not very important. And yet, in this lesson, I will talk about an opening trap. For one, that you learn about the pattern of the combination, and secondly, make sure you don't fall into it. Well, let's enjoy it. It's a trap that has been discovered back in the 18th century, a long time ago. Here it is. It's called the Légal Trap. It starts when white plays e4, black responds with e5, white continues with knight f3, developing and attacking the black pawn on e5. Black, for example, protects the pawn with knight to c6. I have to mention, though, that this very same pattern, this same trap, can be reached through many different move orders or different sequence of moves. So that's why it's really important to know the pattern, the idea, not necessarily the exact order of moves. So let's see what happens. White moves the bishop to c4, eyeing immediately on black's weakest square on f7, right near the king. In all openings that start with the king-pawn move e4, generally f7 is considered the weakest square in the whole position. So after bishop c4, in this example, black plays d6, a logical move that opens up the diagonal of the bishop on c8. And white continues developing the other knight, knight to c3. And here comes the interesting part. If black now plays bishop to g4, that seemingly pins the white knight. What that means is that if now this white knight would try to move somewhere, then all of a sudden the black bishop from g4 could capture the white queen on d1. So therefore, white has to be very careful about not to do that, or at least not to do it without a good reason. So white now played h3, attacking the black bishop that just came to g4. And now black, if he wants to play logically, would want to maintain that pin and move the bishop back to h5. As we shall see, this is a mistake though. The problem with the bishop coming out so early is that the bishop is on h5, and in fact it was already on g4 as well, on an unprotected square. And generally in chess, it's ideal not to put your pieces on unprotected squares. So after bishop h5, an incredible situation arises, that despite the pin that is there on the knight on f3, that knight is still able to move. Not only move, but immediately capture the pawn on e5. Knight captures e5. Looks like crazy. It allows the bishop to capture the queen. Moreover, now black can capture the white knight with either the pawn or with the knight on e5. So let's look at all of those options one by one. If black now captures the white knight on e5 with the pawn, d takes e5, then white will capture with the queen from d1 the bishop on h5, and winning a pawn on this combination. On the other hand, if the black knight captures the white knight on e5 instead, then also the white queen will capture the bishop on h5. The difference is that now black may capture the white bishop on c4. Did white miscalculate? White lost the bishop, but white had a pre-planned closing point here, and that is swinging the queen all the way from the king's side to the queen's side to b5, checking black's king, and attacking the black knight at the same time on c4. This would be called a fork. After black stops the check, blocks it, for example, by interposing with the pawn on c6, the white queen captures the black knight on c4, and as an end result, as you can see, white now is a pawn ahead. And finally, and most importantly, of course, that's what we first have to look at when we make such a major sacrifice, what happens when black captures, indeed, bishop takes d1, captures the queen. So right now at this moment, all white has for the sacrificed queen is a pawn. And this is the beautiful checkmate pattern that I suggest you remember. Bishop captures on f7, check, giving black only one single choice, moving the king up to e7, and now the beautiful and pure checkmate happens with knight d5. All of the white pieces around the black king are ideally utilized, each only taking away one possible escape square from the king, and black is in checkmate. Quite an amazing and beautiful opening trap. Let's just go back for a moment to the fourth move, to the position when black just moved the bishop to g4, pinning the white knight. The question is, why would white need to first attack that bishop and not capture on e5 right away with the knight? If white would capture knight e5 on the fifth move, the problem is that after the black knight recaptures on e5, at the same time it also will protect the black bishop on g4, and therefore white would lose a piece and the combination would fail. Well, what did we learn in this lesson? We learned a very important and famous opening trap. Make sure if you're on the black side of the board, don't fall into it. If accidentally you happen to have a chance with the white pieces, obviously take advantage of it. And remember, white pins are generally extremely dangerous. There are exceptions to it. I hope you enjoyed one of these classic opening traps, and tune in for our next lesson in the future. Thank you.